From Muscleman giving himself 4th degree burns for absolutely no reason. To Mordecai and Rigby being so smart, the rest of the world couldn't understand them.
We've become so smart, they're stupid to us.
Morianis vestris incipiat rem totem!
Regular show has hundreds of unique characters, all with different IQs. These are 10 of the dumbest and smartest characters in regular show. So we're starting with possibly the dumbest person in television history. Rigby is a very lovable main character within the series. Now for some on this list, they may have a few dumb or smart moments, but Rigby as a person has been shown numerous times to just not be smart, like at all. Take the episode Trash Boat, for example, the time where he legally changed his name.
What would you say if I changed my name to Trash Boat?
I'd say you're a total loser. Certificate of name change? You actually did it?
Give me that!
Oh man, wait till everyone hears about this.
Rigby wanted to change his name to something cool and ended up going with the first 2 items he saw when he opened his eyes. The man got bullied so badly, a famous person named The Urge traveled back in time to attack him for stealing his fame with such a bad name. He wasn't the only one fed up though. Fans made a list of Rigby's dumbest moments, betting his friend's soul against death, getting himself and Mordecai stuck in a freezer after believing a bunch of hot dogs prophecy, and changing his name to Trash Boat, or the time he risked his life in the episode Egg Sellin'. Rigby sees a hat on TV that he likes. The only way to get that specific hat was through an eating competition. So Rigby being Rigby decided to test his skills, but there's a slight problem. He's allergic to eggs.
Bring me the omelet.
Dude, you're allergic to eggs?
I thought if I ate really fast, maybe I wouldn't notice.
Because Mordecai was somewhat smart, Rigby had to be the lovable goofball out of the duo. He couldn't be smart, because if he was, half of the chaos that happened at the park just wouldn't have happened. It was mainly caused by Rigby's low IQ. A fan commented, "Anyone else feel like they're making Rigby do excessively stupid things to create plot lately? Like, I know he's never been bright, but this stuff is making me hate the character for just being outrageously stupid. So aggressively stupid, that goes beyond sheer stupidity." But Benson, on the other hand, is the one who keeps Rigby's stupidity in check. Benson is the park manager, and honestly, he has to be one of the smartest characters on the show just for putting up with Mordecai and Rigby on a daily basis. This man runs an entire park while dealing with 2 employees who would rather play video games than do their jobs. He keeps the park running, handles the budgets, the schedules, and somehow manages to not completely lose it. Well, most of the time.
You lazy, no-good slackers drive me nuts! Can't you just listen to me once in your worthless life?
In the episode Think Positive, Benson was forced by Pops to hold in his anger and not yell at Mordecai and Rigby. And what happened? He bottled it up so much that when he finally let it out, his screaming created a literal shockwave that destroyed part of the park. That is how much stress these 2 put him through. But the fact that he comes back to work every single day and still tries to keep things in order shows a level of discipline and intelligence that most people on this show just do not have. He is also a talented drummer, which shows he has a creative and artistic side that a lot of fans forget about. Benson is not just yelling all the time, the man has real skills. And let us not forget, in Benson Be Gone, when Susan took over and started turning everyone into clones of herself, it was Benson who figured out the strategy to get everyone to slack off so they would revert back to normal. That is big brain energy right there.
Eat this pizza while you play.
That's it! Mordecai and Rigby, go back to work!
No, you don't! Keep slacking!
Benson was always right about Mordecai and Rigby. Every single time he yelled at them, they deserved it. He was never the villain. He was the only person at the park with any common sense. Neo Ultra Mike from the anime superhero forum said, "Benson seems like just the angry manager, but has his own demons and actually cares a lot more than he lets on. His rage can be his own handicap as well." Jims from Reset Era said, "They did a really nice job making the angry boss archetype a more 3-dimensional character. Shout out to Benson." Now, speaking of someone who is smart but makes the dumbest decisions when it comes to relationships, let us talk about Mordecai. Mordecai is an interesting case because he is not traditionally dumb. He went to art school and he is definitely the more responsible one between him and Rigby. But when it comes to his love life, this man has the emotional intelligence of a brick. He is what we call emotionally dumb. Take the episode Meteor Moves, for example. Mordecai had the perfect opportunity to kiss Margaret during a meteor shower, and he waited so long that they both literally got sent to the friend zone. An actual place in the show, a giant guardian had to lecture him about how he waited too long to make a move.
Each time, you hesitated. You let all those opportunities pass. You just didn't believe in yourself. You must be brave enough to show your true feelings. Only then will you be freed of the friend zone.
And then there is the whole Margaret and CJ situation. After Margaret left for college, Mordecai started dating CJ, but he could never fully commit because he still had feelings for Margaret. In Merry Christmas Mordecai, he accidentally kissed Margaret right in front of CJ. And instead of handling it like a grown man, he just froze and made everything worse.
No.
Oh my gosh.
I didn't mean to do
really
that.
wasn't. I mean,
Mordecai?
no, it's not.
CJ, wait!
Awkward.
But the absolute lowest point was in Dumped at the Altar. At Muscleman and Starla's wedding, Mordecai hijacked the entire ceremony to give a speech about his own relationship problems. He basically tried to dump CJ in front of everyone at someone else's wedding. That is not just emotionally dumb, that is emotionally catastrophic.
CJ, I need to tell you,
Mordecai, just stop. I already know what you're gonna say, so save it. You don't know who your soulmate is? You didn't even point in my direction.
CJ!
Yo, Mordo, if you're finished hijacking my wedding, is it okay if we get married now?
The ironic thing is, Mordecai ended up marrying someone completely different in the finale. He married a Batwoman named Steph that he met at an art show. So all that drama with Margaret and CJ was for nothing. Ezekiel 45 from Reset Era said, Mordecai is smart in some ways, but his emotional immaturity holds him back. All that drama with Margaret and CJ was for nothing. That weird guy from Anime Superhero said, Mordecai had great potential as a character, but his relationships dragged the show down. He is smarter than he acts. Now from someone who is emotionally dumb to someone who is just straight up dumb in the funniest way possible. You know who else makes terrible decisions on a daily basis? Muscleman is one of the dumbest characters on the show, and he is proud of it. This is the man who gave himself third-degree burns on 70% of his butt by using the seat warmers too much on the cart. In the end of Muscleman, this guy genuinely thought he was going to die and started going on a bucket list rampage. And in Big Winner, when Muscleman thought he won $1 million, he immediately started insulting all his friends and trashing the entire park because he figured he could just replace everything with something new. Spoiler, he did not actually win.
Look at the ticket!
You guys pranked me?
But here is the thing. Despite being dumb, Muscleman somehow managed to have the most stable relationship on the entire show. He and Starla stayed together, got married, and actually made it work. So maybe he is not as dumb as we think, at least when it comes to love. Neo Ultra Mike from Anime Superhero said, Muscleman can be pretty one-note sometimes, but when he isn't just antagonizing the two, he can actually be fairly interesting. GP Railroad 8794 from Anime Superhero said, MM is better as a supporting character than as the central character. Now let us go from one of the dumbest to one of the most underrated smart characters on the show. Eileen is easily one of the smartest characters in the entire show, and she does not get enough credit for it. She worked at the coffee shop, went to college at the same time, and consistently got straight A's in all of her classes. While Rigby was out there betting people's souls against death and changing his name to Trash Boat, Eileen was getting her degree. In the episode Camping Can Be Cool, when everyone forgot to bring matches, Eileen already knew how to start a fire from scratch. She also knew the names of constellations without even looking up from the video game she was playing with Rigby. She is just casually brilliant.
Yeah, I think that's a Ursula Merger right there. See like the handle of the ladle?
It's called Ursa Major, not Ursula Merger. And that's not even it. That's Orion.
Oh, and she didn't even have to look up.
The best part? Eileen eventually ended up with Rigby. In the Eileen plan, Rigby actually felt like he was not smart enough to be dating her, so he went back to high school to get his diploma. That is how much smarter she is than him. She literally inspired the dumbest character on the show to go back to school. By the 25-year reunion in the finale, they were married with 2 daughters. The smartest character on the show ended up with the dumbest, and somehow it worked perfectly. Cartoony Gothica from Fandom said, "I can see why Eileen might seem too perfect, but there's a reason why she developed so many skills. Personally, I like that she has influenced Rigby for the better." Aaron from Resetera said, "So happy they included her in the last season, and that they stopped with the LOL Eileen is weird and ugly jokes being her entire character." Now, if you think Eileen is smart, wait until we talk about the guy who has literally been alive for hundreds of years. Skips is the strongest and smartest worker at the park, and everyone knows it. Whenever something supernatural or unexplainable happens, which is basically every episode, everyone turns to Skips, and his response is almost always the same. I've seen this before, because he has. The man is an immortal Yeti who has been alive for hundreds of years. He was granted immortality by the Guardians of Eternal Youth so he could fight Clorgbane the Destroyer. His girlfriend Mona died during a fight with Clorgbane, and that is why Skips chose to live forever, to keep his promise and protect others. That backstory alone shows this is not just a smart character, this is a wise character.
Mona! Mona!
But Skips is not perfect. In Skips versus Technology, he could not figure out how to fix a computer error. The man can defeat supernatural entities, but a basic computer virus had him completely lost. He had to call in his old friend Techmo to help.
This is bad. Don't worry, dudes. Elevate keyboard. Whoa! What the? Error 220. Let's dance.
Still, Skips is the reason the park is even still standing. Without him, Mordecai and Rigby would have destroyed reality a long time ago. Tiger Fog from Reset Era said, "He is super resourceful, immortal, and often flawed, yet he always confronted his inner demons head on." Neo Ultra Mike from Anime Superhero said, "Skips isn't just super strong but also highly intelligent. His main issue seems to be his own ego." And speaking of technology, let us talk about the man Skips called when he could not fix that computer. Techmo is one of those characters who does not show up a lot, but every time he does, he proves he is one of the smartest beings in the regular show universe. Originally a human named Samson, Techmo is now a half-man, half-machine technomancer. He has been around since the American Revolutionary War, where he was actually friends with Skips. Back then he had a wooden arm, but in the present day, he upgraded to a full cybernetic metal arm. In Skips versus Technology, when a deadly computer virus called Doom-Mageddon infected Mordecai and Rigby's computers, Skips had no idea how to fix it. So who did they call? Techmo. He immediately identified the virus and knew exactly what to do. Unfortunately, the virus was so powerful that it actually possessed Techmo, and he started digitizing everything he touched. But even then, his tech knowledge was the key to eventually defeating it.
I'm in! I see it! Error 220. Prepare to be pwned! What? Error 220?
Techmo is what happens when you combine centuries of life experience with cutting-edge technology. He is basically the IT department of the regular show universe, and the only person Skips trusts when his own knowledge is not enough. Neo Ultra Mike from Anime Superhero said, "The computer programmer being an old friend of Skips. I really like the idea of the fight being against an evil computer virus, and the only way to stop him is exploiting the old load too many programs at once and you freeze the computer issue." Now, from one of the smartest to one of the most lovable but naive characters in the entire show. Pops is one of those characters who you cannot really call dumb in the traditional sense, because he is more like a child trapped in an old man's body. He is incredibly naive and innocent, and there is actually a reason for that. In the episode Prank Callers, Mordecai and Rigby traveled back in time to the 1980s and accidentally crashed into a younger version of Pops. It is implied that this collision gave Pops brain damage and turned him into the childlike, quirky character we know today. So technically, Mordecai and Rigby are the reason Pops is the way he is.
Don't answer it! Don't answer!
Mordecai, look out!
Dude, we just hit past Pops!
Pops carries butterscotch lollipops in his wallet, and genuinely believes they are real money. He does not understand modern things. He talks in an old-fashioned proper way, and he gets confused by basic situations that everyone else finds obvious. But here's the thing, despite all of that, Pops is one of the kindest and most pure-hearted characters in the entire show. He loves everyone unconditionally and always sees the best in people, and in the final season, we find out that Pops is not just some naive old man. He is actually a cosmic being from a planet called Lollyland, and his real name is Mega Cranus. He was destined to battle his evil brother for the fate of the universe. So this whole time, the guy we thought was the simplest character on the show was actually one of the most powerful beings in existence.
All your friends are going to die, and there's nothing you can do about it.
We can still resolve this, brother.
Prof Bathtub from Reset Era said, I'd actually put Pops next since episodes with him as the focus tend to be pretty good across the seasons. Neo Ultra Mike from Anime Superhero said, Pops, despite being old and eccentric, also has his own limits and foibles that don't just rely on him being a random old coot. And that brings us to the final character on this list, the most intelligent villain in regular show history, and the opposite of everything Pops stands for. Malum Cranus, better known as Anti-Pops. He is the main villain of the final season and the last and most powerful antagonist in the entire series. There is a reason he is on the smart side of this list. This is not some random villain who showed up and started causing chaos. Anti-Pops is a calculated, strategic, godlike being who spent billions of years planning how to destroy the universe. Here is the backstory. Anti-Pops and Pops are brothers from the planet Lollyland, and they are fated to battle each other every 14 billion years for the fate of the universe. Every single time they fought, it ended in a stalemate, and the universe would reset. So after billions of failed attempts, Anti-Pops got smart about it. Instead of waiting for the final battle, he decided to hunt down Pops early and erase him from existence before their fight could even happen. That is next level strategy.
I say, we're the handsome chap in the newspaper, don't you think? Is that me? Hello? Hello?
Anti-Pops had the power to erase anything from existence just by touching it. He completely erased the entire cast at one point during the final battle. He even took on his Titan form and started erasing Lollyland itself. This is a villain who was so powerful and so intelligent that the only way to stop him was for Pops to sacrifice himself. In the finale, Pops hugged his brother and flew them both into the sun, ending the cycle forever. And in his final moments, Anti-Pops actually smiled. He redeemed himself right at the end, because Pops' love and kindness finally got through to him.
Pops, the minute you let me go, I'm gonna blast you into nothing.
I know, so I'm not going to let go.
I wish I could take it all back.
You can try. You and I together, brother.
Those are the 10 smartest and dumbest characters in regular show. Whether they were making the dumbest decisions imaginable or outsmarting cosmic level threats, every single one of them made this show unforgettable.